Okay, come
Did you look at that?
Are live on the channels.
I did.
Where all those cubbies are?
Yeah, there's a ton of flyers and people things, but I thought it was.
Yeah, you can go ahead and hit the chiming God call.
Got it.
Here's your God Call with Reverend Bill.
We have an opportunity to go through an event and choose how we're going to experience it. This weekend is the time change where most of the United States is going to go from standard time to daylight saving time, and some of the country is not. And the people who are switching get to wake up an hour early and have the experience of one less hour of sleep, whereas the people who are not changing have to readjust the way that they engage with people in the rest of the country. So it's possible to be happy about any of this, or to be unhappy about any of this. You get to choose.
That's you, John.
Let us break bread together in the silence of our room. Let the honesty close another room. And let us all thank the mothers for the days we're given to. Let us all come together soon. May the sun in its grandeur be the labor of our lives. May our planets come to us around. When the waters awaken, they will cover all our hearts. We'll return to the place where we did start. So let us all come together. Let us all come together. Let us all come together soon. Let us all come together. Let us all come together. May we all come together soon. There is patience and sorrow with a quiet, steady hand, and a day when you come to understand. When we'll share these religions as we dance beneath the moon, may we all come together soon. Let us all come together. Let us all come together. Let us all come together soon. Let us all come together. Let us all come together. May we all come together soon. Let us all come together. Let us all come together. Let us all come together soon. Let us all come together. Let us all come together. May we all come together soon. Let us all come together soon.
John, thank you all. Thank you, local folks and Zoom folks and all the folks. We are here at Falzer one more time. Good morning, New Thought Philadelphia.
Good morning.
They get to hear back what they're saying. So folks who are on Zoom, we're going to be using largely the same rules that we use every week. The folks who are in the room, of course, you can be disruptive and misbehave yourselves because it's what you do. Zoom folks, for the most part, keep yourself muted. We have some technical stuff that we're working on over here. It's the third configuration this morning that we got to work. Annie is clicking the button for original sound for musicians, which means that if you guys remotely are talking and it's clicked the wrong way, then you guys hear an echo. And hopefully when you all unmute now and repeat after me, we will not get the echo. So let's give that a try. Go ahead, unmute your microphone. People in the room, sing out. Repeat after me. I open myself to love.
I
open myself to love.
Myself to joy.
I open myself to joy.
Open myself to something new now.
I open myself to something new now.
I know that love is right here, right now.
I know that love is right here, right now.
So it is.
And so it is. Amen.
Folks, you can re-mute yourself. I will remind you that I am Bill Marchiony, the spiritual director of New Thought Philadelphia. Our music today is by the amazing John Conahan, two practitioners. The remote practitioner is Carolyn Nixon, and the local practitioner is Jesus Baez, and they're both going to be helping us today. I will make a note to start with, though, that New Thought Philadelphia is an open and loving community of spiritual adventurers, welcoming each person to experience their divine nature in an empowering space of unconditional love. Whatever brought you through our door or onto our Zoom today, wherever you are heading next, we have been expecting you. Welcome home. Not a whole lot that we have to believe in around here. Actually, there's nothing you have to believe in. It's kind of convenient if you understand that we believe that there is one power, love, intelligence, or force that has created everything and continues to create everything, including each of us. And that we're each using that same power, love, intelligence, or force to create our lives according to our beliefs. As we like to say here, fits right onto a license plate frame. Your new life begins with a new thought. If you have an extra electronic device with you, not one of the ones that we're using for the live stream of the Zoom, but an extra one, go ahead and turn it on shush. For those of you who are remote, you can shush your devices as well so that we don't get disturbed as we focus our attention inward. We begin our celebration the way we begin everything, with a practical prayer. And to open us in prayer is Carolyn Nixon from the shores of Lake Michigan out there in Milwaukee.
Please join me in knowing that there is one mind. That mind is the mind of God. That mind is my mind now. There is one life. That life is the life of God. That life is my life now. This one mind, this one life is all knowing, all loving, all giving, and everywhere present. Within this one is all that has been, is now, and is yet to be. I am a unique, individualized expression of this one. And as our Christian brothers and sisters would say, I was created in the image and likeness of God. I am that I am that which thou art. This one mind, this one life, as written by Ernest Holmes, sleeps in the mineral kingdom, dreams in the plant kingdom, awakens in the animal life, and comes to full self-awareness in human life. Being self-aware, I know that I am always at choice, and I know that wherever I place my attention, my focus, the divine flows. And right here and right now, I choose to turn away from anything from within or without which appears to be clamoring for my attention. I release all which no longer serve my good in thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, habits, perceptive lenses, filters, and screens. In so doing, I open wide my consciousness to make room for whatever good I declare for myself to fully and freely enter, to take root, to blossom, and to come into full manifestation. I am grateful for this awareness. I am grateful for this support, this opportunity to grow in consciousness in the safe, loving space of community. I know that everything that I witness and experience in this celebration uplifts and inspires me, everyone present, and all life everywhere. And every bit of good, every bit of growth that occurs in this celebration continues long after it comes to a close. And with loving gratitude, I release my word into that creative medium of this one, which refer to as the law, knowing and is fully complete and accomplished right here and right now. This good I claim is at hand, and even greater good is on its way. I know it to be so. I allow it to be so. So be it. Blessed be. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Carolyn. So the reason that we do a prayer is not to earn God points or something. The reason we do a prayer is because it works. It changes something in our experience. So if there's somebody who is on the Zoom who has a prayer work story that you'd like to share, or somebody in the room who has a prayer work story you'd like to share, raise a hand, and we would love to hear it. My personal prayer work story is that the technology actually worked this morning. It had the appearance that it might not. So we'll see what happens when we get over to the talk later on. It looks like Sarah's got her digital hand raised.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I have two. I'll try to be quick. The first is a fun parking spot story. So the other day on Friday, my friend who lives in the city had come over and drove her car, and she's like, "Oh, I got the most fantastic parking spot." And I was like, "Look at you, not taking an Uber in the city and betting on South Philly parking." Real proud. 20 minutes later, a friend that doesn't live in the city starts driving, and she's like, "Okay, I'm going to check my normal spots where I normally go to park." So then like the 40 minutes that it normally takes turns into like an hour. Turns into like an hour and 10 minutes. So then she texts me and she's like, "I'm having a lot of problems finding a spot." And then I joked with Steph that like, "Oh, you drove from your part of Philly, so you took the spot that she normally parks in." And then I was like, "Wait a minute, there's not just one parking spot available. Let's pray." And so we paused our little TV show and we prayed. And then 3 minutes later, I'm like, "Okay, it's 7:29. So literally 3 minutes later, Martine texts and she's like, "I got a spot." And I'm like, "It does work." So then she came. And then the other thing is I went to the flower show yesterday, which was a madhouse, tons and tons of people, probably more people than flowers, which is fine, but it was a little overwhelming. So my friend Steph wanted to do these cool terrariums. And so I'll put my camera on for just a second. I was very overwhelmed at the idea of doing these little terrariums, but then I did a little prayer. And then this nice lady named Phyllis, who was like representative of God in that moment, came and sat down next to me. And she just was like, "You've got it. Just keep going. Just keep adding little tchotchkes in there. It's going to come together." And it was literally like she was like a little guardian angel that just happened to sit next to me right after I was like, "I think I'm going to sweat through my eyes. Tears are about to come out. I don't know what to do with this terrarium." And then she just sat down right after I was like, "Okay, Spirit, I need some help." And she just helped me the whole time. So it was really nice. Prayer does work.
I love when that happens. Very exciting. Anybody else? A prayer work story to share? All right. Well, in that case, I will invite Carla Ann up, who is going to read the announcements for us today with background orchestration from Dina.
Good morning, beautiful people. Happy Sunday. This daylight-filled information is on our website at newthoughtphilly.org and our weekly e-newsletter. Please sign up on the website so that we can keep in touch. This week is your last chance to join Beyond Limits. It's our transformational intro class into New Thought teaching. It's Tuesdays on Zoom from 7 to 9:30. Anyone who has completed the class can audit for half price. Good deal. Register for the live practical prayer workshop on Zoom or on Saturday, March 25th from 12:30 to 5 p.m. It wraps up with live musical exercises with the amazing Daniel Namath. It's open to everyone and included with Beyond Limits. Get God calls. I highly recommend them. You heard one at the start of the celebration, and you can subscribe to get them on your phone 4 random times every week. Sign up for a free trial, at godcall.org. Twice a day, we host a meditation on Zoom. Also highly recommended. Everyone is welcome. They're inspiring, fun, and quick. Less than 15 minutes start to finish. Episode 92 of Reverend Bill's Practical Prayer Podcast is an overworked conversation of destination and journey. Get it where you get your podcast. Watch the live recording session online on Monday at 1 p.m. Follow our social media on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and now TikTok. And join the 1,429 spiritual adventures in our group meetup.com. Antonin, gather and gab, Zoom for social time with New Thought friends from all over the country. We are grateful for your tax-deductible donations by Zelle, Cash App, check. We all know what they are, right? And PayPal, Venmo, credit card, or debit card. Thank you to the team that makes our Zoom celebration work and has fun doing it. To join the joy, contact Sandy. Next Sunday is online with You Are More Than This. Our guest speaker is Dr. Michelle Whittington, and she'll explore what we are not so we can find out what we are. Live and original music by Bernard Starkissian. Reverend Bill and the practitioners are available for professional sessions by appointment. After the celebration, Carolyn will be available for a quick Miracle in a Minute prayer. And of course, we'll leave the Zoom open so that everybody can mingle. Thank you.
Today is March 12th, 2023. And anybody who's got a little bit of a memory, you might recall that in Philadelphia, March 12th of 2020 was the day the lockdown started. So we are 3 years off from that. So has that become the good old days yet? I just have no idea. So we're back in person, and that means that we get to welcome our second-time visitors with a special gift. I don't see any second-time visitors who are here, but if anybody is a second-time visitor, when you do show up in person, you get this lovely little pen and key light gift that we will be giving to you. For folks who are here for the first time, actually, John, this is more than your second time, right? You've been here a few times. Our first-time visitors on Zoom and in person get a special blessing. So I happen to know that there's somebody who's with us in person for the first time. So if you would be willing to stand up, anybody who's here for the first time, the rest of us are going to give you a blessing. Anybody who's on Zoom, raise your hand. Yeah, go ahead. You can applaud. Who's here for the first time? We're going to have a story. So the rest of us, we're going to rub our hands together, generate some warmth, feel the love. You guys are just going to receive. You are the bright light of God's love. Thank you, thank you, thank you for shining that light and sharing that love with us today. And welcome. During the next song, we're going to greet each other on Zoom. That looks like you're going to go into gallery view and just look into each other's eyes. In the room, that means that you can wave, touch elbows, hug, whatever seems to be socially and distantly appropriate for you. And we're going to do that while John does another song.
I don't ever let nobody in, but you found a way. And even as I stay inside my shell, I know it's not quite home. When you're here, I feel that I can breathe. Like with you, I'm always known. Now I need to ask you, understand that all this is new. All my defense is stripped away. This is me in front of you. And maybe this is something we can share. Learning to let things go. Hold me tighter than you'll ever dare. Here in this space we know and all you are everything. No, you are everything and everything. I remember days when I would swear I'd never sell my heart away. Peeled apart from battles of the past, loneliness was all I had to pay. Why'd you have to shine into this place? I could have made it the road. Now you've shown there's no burden to bear. Shown a home in you and all you are everything. And everything I needed was in you. Oh, everything. There's just no other way for me to say it. This isn't up game, so I won't play it. Something in myself is falling away. And you were there to help me understand. I know you'll catch me when I land. Falling in and out of love every single day. I ain't never let nobody in. Right here you stand. I don't feel the need to hide myself. Really, I've got to find a place to land. This moment as I look into your eyes, I see that trust is true. Finally, I can feel that I can breathe. Just need to stand by you. Oh, you are everything. No, you are everything. 'Cause everything I need was in you. Oh, you're everything. You're everything. Oh, everything. Everything.
John. Annie, start walking. It takes a while to get up here. We are now going to read the Flames of Faith. And Annie, as she makes this her way through the solemn course, will lead us in that.
Good morning, everybody. We perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from the one power, love, intelligence, which we call spirit or God. We honor the richness that comes from our shared diversity and bless the interwoven energy of the divine feminine and masculine. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. As we light the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone or any place you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
Blessed be. Our reading today comes to us by way of Jane Rourke, who, and it's wonderful that we get to change our mind. She was going to be here, but then it turns out that she's going to be going to the last performance of Green's play, which is The Little Prince in Swarthmore afterwards. So she was able to reschedule and make that happen. As other people who woke up this morning weren't feeling particularly well, it's a good idea to be able to stay home and take care of yourself and be able to do that. So there's a little bit of magic in hybrid, which is something we were not doing 3 years ago. So we get to celebrate a little bit in that. And by the way, Jane, I went and saw your lovely set designs yesterday. You did a great job. Green was good too.
Thank you. That was fun. Well, good morning, everybody. The reading today is from Can We Talk to God by Ernest Holmes. We long for a conscious approach to the infinite. It is as necessary to the nature and the intellect of humankind as food is to the well-being of our physical bodies, this divine nourishment. What is true on one plane is true on all. Those of us who are seeking to understand the truth and the breadth, width, and depth of science of mind must realize that these things are possible. Of what ultimate value would a religion or philosophy be to the world which simply taught it a few laws of cause and effect or how to heal a pain? This is good and wonderful, but unless it teaches how to live and how to be, unless it gives something which is a divine certainty of life and being, it is useless. Prosperity is inevitable if a person's mind is right. Nothing can stop it. Healing is inevitable if a person is in harmony with life. There is nothing that can stop it. It is law. We are to use consciously this law, but we can use it only to the degree in which our consciousness is unified with truth. But we must not go searching after God. God is in you and in me. Therefore, we each must penetrate more deeply into our own nature, and just so surely as we do, we will have a very marvelous experience. We will find a depth to ourself that we have never realized. It will be a sane spiritual experience. We will sense a something within that we never dreamed of. We have read about it, but we have never dreamed it was within us. This is where we meet God, and we are going to learn this, that we can talk to God just as consciously as we talk to people. And that if we expect it, believe it, and feel it, we will receive just as direct a response. We will not receive an audible word because God's audible word is placed in this creation in the mouths of individuals. This is the only audible word God has on this plane.
It's been such a long time, oh, my heart doesn't know anything but tears. Since you went away, I I've been fighting back from fading into fears. Maybe I should call on the ones who sleep inside the echoes of the past. Lord, I know those comforts, they don't ever seem to last. We're too young to be veterans of all these games, and I'm too old to be carrying on this flame. Don't hold your breath or you'll disappear. Guess I'll be a vagabond this year. I found that my car holds a refuge that no one seems to match within a home. I love the feeling of the highways, getting caught up in the road. I know I just can't, no. Rustle any restlessness from any place inside, till I feel it fall asleep. This old wheel and radio of minds, 'cause we're too young to be counting on every move. And I'm too old to be singing a lonesome tune. Don't hold your breath or you'll disappear. Guessing I'll be a vagabond this year. Oh, I'm too young to be praying for better days. We're too old to be going our separate ways. Don't hold your breath or you'll disappear. Guessing I'll be a vagabond. Guess I'll be a vagabond this year. Don't hold your breath, you'll just disappear. Guessing I'm a vagabond this year.
Beautiful. Thank you, John. I'd like you to pay attention. Now, that's not me telling you what you should do. I'm actually naming the talk, which is paying attention. And most people think, oh, I pay attention all the time. I'm paying attention. Yeah, I got it. And we're doing thousands of different things all the time. Anybody ever get involved in multitasking? Yeah, doing more than one thing at a time? Yeah, that happens from time to time. And our minds tell us that we're pretty good at it. Well, I'm pretty good at multitasking. And in fact, we are not good at multitasking at all. What happens when we're multitasking is we pay attention to something, and then we stop paying attention to that and pay attention to something else for a moment. And then we stop paying attention to that, and we pay attention to something else for a moment, and we cycle through. And we're switching back and forth all the time. That's what multitasking is, because we can only pay attention to one thing at a time. Now, paying attention actually can be important. And I always love to bring my dog Oliver Oliver Quimby, for those of you who know Phineas Quimby. Oliver is my standard poodle. He just turned 2 years old a week ago. And sometimes he pays attention to things that annoy me, like the dog walking down the street, which completely captivates his attention. He does not hear me saying, be quiet, stop, leave it, and the rest of that. He just is focused on barking at that dog or playing with the dogs when he's playing with the dogs. So he knows how to pay attention. Now, sometimes when we're on a walk, he'll see another dog and the other dog will get his attention. And so he'll be jumping around very enthusiastically, looking at the other dog, not trying to run over to the other dog because he's got that level of behavior in him, but he's jumping, he's very excited, he's looking over his shoulder at the other dog, and on more than one occasion, he has walked smack into a signpost or a lamppost because he's not paying attention. And he's not even trying to multitask. If you were able to ask him and he were to answer, it's like, no, I'm not interested in anything other than barking at the other dog. And that's okay. Now, the reason that paying attention is important, and it's not paying attention, it's being aware of paying attention is important, is because we find ourselves in an attention economy or an information economy. And I can hear you starting to think, I got up early for this. You're going to give me a dissertation on the economics and the ways society is working. Well, I'm going to keep it really quick. And the first time I became aware that there are different structures and economies is in the when I first started in working in the 70s and 80s. We were talking about moving into a service economy, from a manufacturing or a product economy into a service economy. It's like, yeah, whatever that means. And it turns out that that's what we did. And the service economy, with the advent of the internet, turned into a knowledge or an information economy. And I dismissed it initially because I thought the products aren't going to go away. We still have products. So what do you mean we're going to switch to a service economy? But what happened was, and the product economy wasn't the first one that we had. Originally, humans started out being hunter-gatherers, and it was whoever could find the food was going to be the survivor. And then we discovered agriculture. We could actually grow our own stuff and create our own food, and it became an agricultural economy. And it was the people who had the land, had the livestock, and had the ability to plant things and grow them that were actually driving the economy. And it was the first people doing that really had a lot of power and a lot of control. And then we discovered energy. And suddenly we were able to move things around on our own, and it turned into factories and inventions and things like that. You've seen those pictures of the big steam turbine things that are driving a shaft and that's powering all the machines in a factory someplace. And that continued on. And there's still a lot of that going on. It's gotten smaller, it's gotten easier. The most important thing is it's turned into a commodity. At this point, anybody can do that. Anybody can grow food, anybody can manufacture stuff. Anybody can provide services by taking the things that are around and offering it up to other people and charging for it. And when it shifts from one economy to another, what happens is the way that we've been doing it becomes so commonplace that anybody can do it, and the innovators get to create something new. So now we're in an information economy, which we probably think of today as a content economy, because information, well, now we have tons and tons of information. You can Google something and that's more information than you can handle. So what we want to do is we want to have content, and there are people who have jobs, which is content creator. That's what they do, is they create YouTubes, and they're making a very nice living by creating YouTubes and having people watch them. Well, who growing up would think that that was a thing? Now, Marley's here. Marley's like just getting to the end of the growing up part. So maybe Marley did. But for the rest of us, it's like, why would that be a thing? And yet it is. And it turns out that it is a thing. And I'm getting back to the point and the topic of the talk, which is it's an attention economy. There's a lot of free stuff out there. And what you pay with is your attention. It is our willingness to watch those YouTubes, to turn on that music, to have that pundit who's saying those things that we're paying attention to, that gives them the value so that they can either get more followers or sell advertising or get sponsorship or whatever that's going to be. So it is with our attention that we're buying stuff. And that brings a new meaning to the thought of pay attention. Because what you have is attention. And if you can multitask, then you're able to switch what you're paying attention to a lot. The notion is, if your attention, each one of those times that you're switching around and paying attention to something different, if each of those was a coin, let's raise the stakes. If each of those was a gold coin, and that was your attention, and you had a pot of coins every day, and every screen, and every conversation, and every book, and every television show, and everything that you were doing, that you're multitasking through, had a coin slot on it, would you still be putting your gold coins into that slot and paying your attention that way? Is it worth it? Now, maybe it is worth it. And you get to decide. We each get to decide. But the point that I'm trying to make is that you're doing it anyway. You're deciding anyway. So do it consciously. There's a thing called decision fatigue. By the time we've been deciding stuff all day long, and we can make thousands of decisions every day, by the time we get to the end of the day or the end of our energy, we're just like, whatever. And we'll just we'll take the pot of coins, we'll just put them in wherever, because it doesn't make any difference anymore. We don't want to decide what the value is going to be. However, if we are thinking ahead of time, what are the things that I want to put my time and my attention into? What is it that I will be paying for with my attention? Then we can let that overarching thought or notion guide what we're going to do whenever one of those invitations to pay attention to something else comes along. So I watch people who are in the midst of doing something and their phone makes a noise, and suddenly they stop paying attention to whatever it was that they were doing, and they're paying attention to whatever it is on their phone. And it could be a text message about something urgent going on with a loved one, or it could be somebody tweeted something and it made it into their feed somehow, or it could be an alarm for something that doesn't actually need to happen. And jumping and looking at your phone is a conscious choice. And if you find yourself having a quiet moment with a friend, and your phone makes a noise, and you stop paying attention to your friend and you start paying attention to your phone, what are you saying about your friend? What are you saying about the value of your attention? That you're willing to squander it that way. And I'm using the word squander because if you're not choosing consciously, you're choosing unconsciously. And we are conscious beings, we get to choose. There's a conversation going on now about daylight saving time. And some people say it's daylight savings time, and it's actually daylight saving time. And I know it's minor, whatever, Bill, it doesn't make any difference. However, words is important. And the reason that that is important is because there is not some investment account that we're putting the daylight into and we can take it out whenever we want. What we're doing is, in the summer months, we are able to take the daylight that happens way before anybody gets home and save it for later. We can save it for the evening. It all happens the same day. In the wintertime, there's only 8 hours of sunlight, and we have to use that because it gets light late and it gets dark early. That's why we celebrate the winter solstice on the 21st of December, because that's the shortest day of the year. And we can't get any more daylight those days. Those are the only ones we have. So in the summer months, what we do is we say, you know what, we don't need it to get light 4 o'clock in the morning. Let's let it get light at 5 o'clock in the morning, and we'll be able to have it light a little bit later on. That's what daylight saving time is about. It's a one-day event. We can't take the daylight from the southern hemisphere and put it into the northern hemisphere. If we could, by golly, we would try. And the people in the southern hemisphere would start talking about imperialism and all the rest of that stuff again, probably be completely justified in it. Our Congress is deciding maybe we want to have daylight saving time all year long and get the children on their school buses in pitch darkness because we don't want the inconvenience of the time change. And by the way, I'm aware of the inconvenience of the time change. Today, first day of daylight saving time, we miss an hour of sleep. We have to get up a little bit earlier, and it feels a little onerous. But that's what we are investing in order to have those long summer evenings. I mean, if you like the fireworks on the 4th of July, they'd be happening at 8 rather than at 9 if we didn't have daylight saving time. So we get to decide. And we don't get to legislate it. We don't get to say we want more light in the wintertime. because it moves south. Move into the equator, where it's much less of a shift. If you really like light, then move up north of the Arctic Circle. For 6 months, the sun doesn't go down at all. Of course, for 6 months, it doesn't come up at all. So you get to make your choice. And it's not going to be legislated. Anybody ever watched high tide, low tide at the beach? Yeah, okay. You know, the tides come and go every 12 hours and 25 minutes, which means it's 24 hours and 50 minutes from tide cycle to tide cycle. And that might seem quite inconvenient, because wouldn't it be more convenient if it were tied to a 24-hour cycle so that we had the tide at the same time every day? Doesn't make any difference. Doesn't matter what you think, doesn't matter what I think. It has nothing to do with our opinion and our desire. It has to do with the difference between how quickly the Earth is spinning and how fast the moon is going around us. The tides are going to change every 12 hours and 25 minutes, regardless of what we say it should be. If it's inconvenient to have the winter solstice right before Christmas, we'd really like to have it pushed back a little bit into January. That's not going to work either. We like to tell ourselves that we're in charge, and sometimes we are, and in many ways we are. But in many ways we're not. And it's really important to pay attention to what's ours and to let loose our attention on that which we're not able to control. Again, it's decision fatigue. You can pay attention to anything you want. And if you're paying attention to things that are going to bring more good, more love, more peace, more harmony into your life, then what you're going to find is you're going to have more love, more peace, more harmony in your life. And if what we're paying attention to are things that we can't control, or letting ourselves be completely fatigued by making decision after decision after decision, which isn't really uplifting us, then we're going to spend a lot of time being tired. And by the way, maybe not make great decisions. And perhaps finding ourselves dancing backwards into a signpost. Could happen. And if it does, read the sign. See what the sign is telling you, because they're there. The signs are there. The guidance is there. The love and the opportunity and the possibility is there. You get to pay attention. So do that, because you deserve all the good that's there, that's heading your way. And so it is. It's you, John.
Yes.
Yes.
I could never see the moonrise. I want to see through your eyes. Every time I try to break away, I find some white silk stay. Can't you ever leave a man alone? Leave his heart to form a solid stone. I will never understand the day that you saved me like a runaway. Quick and stealthy like a surgeon's cut, to a man whose life was bolted shut. Quick and fall into my life again, and you're never really just a friend. No, I never wanted nothing but to be somebody, something. To wake up every day knowing I have found a way to a happy ever after, full of kindness and laughter. I found you. We're running for the race again, try to set this pace we're in, but you slow the hurry time. Just your breathing is a rhyme, and it's all that I can do not to fall in love with you. So you finally steal away, you whisper close to stay. How can anything be lost to me? You keep your living just as free. It's such a fleeting thing, this thing with chance. Can't you bring yourself somebody something, to wake up every day knowing I found a way to a happy ever after, full of kindness and laughter. Ooh, I found you. Now there are no words to form a prayer from the sky or anywhere to ensure that all of this will last. Without a presence or a sin, hold on tight, my friend, and let's begin again. No, I never wanted nothing, to be somebody something, to wake up every day, till I found a way to a happy ever after, full of kindness and laughter. No, I never wanted nothing, to be somebody something, to wake up every day knowing I found a way to happy ever after, full of kindness and laughter. Oh, I found you. I found you. I found you.
Beautiful. It's a long walk back there. Usually we spend some time beforehand running through the program, and I neglected to do that. Carolyn, am I doing the prayer after the meditation, or are you? You're muted.
I will defer to you.
Say it again.
I will defer to you.
Defer to you. Okay, got it. Jesus is going to lead us in a meditation now.
Thank you, Rev. Thank you, Dr. Reverend Bill, for that beautiful talk. Paying attention. I would say invest attention. When we invest attention in our prayers, relationship, community, it will grow. Pay attention to our good, it will grow more good. Take away attention from your negative, lack, and limitation, it will disintegrate, dissipate, disappear. So let's pay attention in this moment to be with the most important person in the whole world, and that's ourselves. Sounds a little selfish, right? But sometimes we want to change the world. We got to start changing ourselves. So it's wherever you at, stay centered. You want to bring your eyes to a soul focus, close and completely. Just relax. Relax your body. But keep your mental alert and aware. Taking a deep breath in. Hold it right there at the top. A little bit. Take a little bit more. Let it go slowly. Relax. Keep breathing at your own pace. Having the faith. You know, everybody got a grain amount of faith. So we could start with that. In scripture, it says, faith is the substance of the things hoped for and the evidence of the things not seen. We do not walk by sight, by appearance, walk by faith. My friend, Martin Luther King Jr. said, take the first step in faith without seeing the whole staircase. Somebody with faith, no explanation is necessary. Somebody without faith, no explanation is possible. Faith is stability, it's calmness, sentiments, it's love. We are sharing that faith here today. We have flowers here where we at. Flowers in the Zoom meeting. Each one of us is a flower of faith, bringing that fragrance. Faith is not believing with no proof, but trust with no reservation. And as we embody and embrace this walk of faith, faith is not clinging to a shrine, to a place, but it's a journey of the heart. Keeping our heart clean, because faith is the sweeper in front of us, eliminating all dirt or dust and cleaning it with clarity and guidance. Spiritual guidance. And as we go into the quiet together, embrace our walk of faith. All we do is in faith. Not with our eyes of appearance, but the third eye of intuition. It's God's way. Faith, trust in God. He knows the way. Just follow our faith.
As we focus our attention, that which we focus upon tends to be drawn more fully into our lives. That's the way the law of attraction works. As we are attending to love and peace and prosperity and harmony and creativity and connection and new experiences of joy and richness and sweetness. That's what we tend to attract into our lives. Faith is knowing that the process works before it works. So I know that each one here is an individualized expression of that one divine creative power. There is only the divine. There is only that creative source, God, nature, spirit, the Big Bang, whatever it is that we call it. There is only the one sharing itself as every facet, every part of its creation. And each of us is an active participant in that creative process. We are able to set an intention, shift our consciousness, and invite that creative law that creates everything to create something new and wonderful for us. So as we open to that newness is unfolding. Joyous and harmonious, rich and wonderful for each of us in our own way. And the good and more good and more good that each of us experiences takes nothing away from anyone else. This is an infinite universe. It does not run out of stuff. So the good that we're seeking is seeking us. And as we step out of the way, there is nothing standing in the way of that good. And it unfolds and it flows and it's right here and it's right now and it continues. And I'm so grateful for it. I'm grateful for the wonderful way this good is flowing into our lives differently for each of us and wonderfully for all of us. And so with a deep feeling of thanks, I speak this word of intention, of invitation, and I release it into that creative law that creates everything with absolute sure faith that it is now creating this. And so I let it be. And so it is. I should take another deep breath. Maybe wiggle your fingers and toes, shrug your shoulders, do a little happy dance, bring your awareness back into the room. John's going to sing another song for us.
Thank you.
Thank you, listeners.
Love, where have you gone? What is there to miss? Just staying here. Time seems to be our friend. Won't you let it stay in our lives? 'Cause this may root your heart, and it may calm the tide if we stay this way tonight. In this place that we found, this hollow ground,
Beautiful. Thank you, John. Thank you, John. So, what's up? This is this is the opportunity where something has come up, something is inspired or tickled or nudged you, you get to give voice to it. This is a wisdom share. So anybody on Zoom, you can raise your hand. Anybody here, I'm going to invite you to come up and be on mic so we can see you. Is there a seed that has been planted that you want to acknowledge? Anybody want to vote to change the tides? Come on up, Sandy.
Yes.
Hi, it's interesting to be on this side instead of on the Zoom side. It feels really good to be here in person. And John, listening to your music it just resonated so deeply. So talking about our attention and thinking about all the emails that come in and really not knowing if some of those emails are going to be important. So I'm not really sure which of them I should give my attention to, because everything that comes into my primary box, I think, well, but I don't want to be wasting my time. And I realized when you said, what do I want at first thing in the morning? If I'm really clear what my priority is, then I feel like the intuition will be clearer as to where to go during the day, what to put my attention on during the day. So that was really helpful. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, beautiful. And by the way, I can help make it a little tiny bit easier, that if the email is from me, it's important. I was working with a client this week, and this person has 1.6 million unread emails. It's like, I felt so good about the 125 of mine, you know? Anybody else? Something that you'd like to give voice to? Dina. Oh, I'm sorry, Jane, go ahead.
Okay. So I think really what resonated with me during the talk was just a practice that to set in motion of being more mindful about cell phone usage and attention. We fall into that trap sometimes at home here. You know, Breen and I will be having dinner or we're having breakfast and I look over and he's like deep in his phone looking at things, and I do the same sometimes, but I especially notice it when we go out to dinner someplace and there are entire families, like young kids and the parents that are they're not even conversing with each other. They each have their phone and it's like, why? Be more mindful about like, how are you spending, where are you putting your attention to? Because I really think it's our relationships in real life are more important than the distractions that we look at on our phones. So that was a good reminder, and I'm going to be more mindful about that this week. I'm going to do a practical prayer around it this week.
Nice. Yeah, and just there's always the possibility of getting our attention hooked by something. If you want to have a fun time, go to a place, a beautiful, wonderful place like the beach is a great place to do this, and watch the teenagers. They're sitting there with a group of friends, the gorgeous beach, and they're paying attention to their phone. It's like you could have done that indoors on a rainy day at home. So, and there's my opportunity to be judgmental. And you can too. Dina?
I just wanted to say, I love you, John Conahan. That music was spectacular as always. And I'm so honored that you are there and sharing your really blessed gifts with this community. Thank you so much. And great talk, Rev.
Thank you. Thank you. There's a joke going through my head about paying attention, but I am glad that it resonated. I'm going to invite Carl Ann to come up and lead us in our offering affirmation. And I would give it a second because it takes a while to traverse. So, and you are welcome to make a closing comment.
Hi again, everyone. I want you to know that wonderful talk today was inspired by one of Rev's meditations, one of those 15-minute meditations. I think it was on a Friday night. I was doing it walking and it blew my mind. And the talk was even better. Thank you. And your music, your lyrics, everything, just beautiful. Thank you. And you're all beautiful. Okie doke. Fancy that. That's crazy. Okay, folks, New Thought Philadelphia is all about spreading the love. Our community is supported by your contributions. The gift you share helps fund our work in the world, and the way you shine your light spreads the love. We have a basket in the room and a donate button on the website to make donations by credit card, PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo. You can also mail a check to our office in Ardmore. We are grateful for every way that you share. The offering affirmation is on the screen, and we'll all unmute and say the affirmation together. I live in an abundant universe. I am one with the infinite force of all good.
I am a center of prosperity. I enjoy the richness of life. I bless my gift. I share my gift with gratitude and joy. I know that as I give, I do receive.
And
so it is.
Amen. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Carla. And one more song. Take us home, John Conahan.
Time has passed, time gets lost. There ain't no reason for wanting in this life. You chose first and came out on time. There's fixing things this time. My heart is heavy, it weighs the moon, it weighs the moon. Feeling unsteady, it's coming soon, it's coming soon. So bye-bye, old anxiety. Bye-bye, old anxiety. Say goodbye, bye-bye, to everything we don't need. Bye-bye, anxiety. Oh, you packed your bags, pack the fridge. What do you want here? What's happening? What's wrong? This ain't no choice. It's all been ugly. Life in limbo is restless. 'Cause my heart is heavy. Singing this tune, singing this tune. You tore down the levees. It's coming soon. It's coming soon. So bye-bye, old anxiety. Bye-bye, old anxiety. Oh, bye-bye, 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 old anxiety. Well, something is wrong with every choice. I'm losing my patience. I'm losing my voice, screaming out loud upon this wall. But you're much too proud to make sense at all. To make sense at all. Make sense at all. No sense at all. So bye, old lang syne. Bye bye, old lang syne. Bye bye bye. We sing bye bye bye. I said bye bye, lang syne. Oh bye bye, old lang syne. Oh.
Thank you, John. Thank you all. Grateful for this time we get to spend together. We'll be back at Falzer on the second Sunday in April, which is easy to remember because that will be Easter. Okay, we will rise for Easter over here. So let us close with another joyous cacophony. Those of you in the room can stand up and hold hands, and those of you on Zoom can unmute. But everybody, repeat after me. I am love.
I am love.
I am light.
I am light.
I am paying attention.
I'm paying attention.
Flowing. The love is flowing.
Oh, the love is flowing.
Shining. And my attention is paying off.
My attention is paying off.
So it is.
So it is. Amen.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Hey.
Lovely. Well, I'm off to walk the dogs, everyone.
Everybody have a great day.
Too. Have a great week.
It's pretty good. It's better than I could have done, that's for sure. It was really great. Oh,
There you go.
I love it. Yeah. I gotta find me one of these. I love this. Sweet. Look how adjustable it is, how high it is. Picking out somewhere online for that one. Oh, yeah?
I seem to recall my massage.
Oh, you saw that? Oh, nice. Okay.
But yeah, whatever.
Need a better piano stand.